The fuck? Achso, Verzögerung. Cool. Also ich bin wieder mal da, Leute. Easy peasy. Mal 2, 3, 5, 8 Jahre nicht online. But who cares? Hatte ein bisschen andere Sachen zu tun. Muss mich ja wirklich überall neu anmelden. Das ist doch nicht normal. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, geht sogar. Hm. Okay, ich lasse das mal laufen.
There's also been an increase in certain medical diagnoses, such as miscarriages and Bell's palsy.
Well, when I first started seeing these strange anomalies in the blood, it's just there's something different about the blood. All of
Okay, mal kurz so ein bisschen rundherum, ne? Also hier irgendwie ist das Video rausgekommen. Das gab es jetzt schon seit, vor 2, 3 Wochen kam so ein Trailer oder sowas raus in der Art und das war ein bisschen kontrovers und Antisemitismus und ach bla 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 und viele falsche Erzählungen und so weiter. Und ich dachte mir jetzt gucken wir es einfach mal an. Das ist nämlich seit gestern oder seit ein paar Stunden. Jedenfalls ist es raus. Bei Twitter ist es so halb gesperrt, du darfst es dort nicht weiter teilen, darfst nicht liken, sonst irgendwas. Also ich bin gespannt, was mich hier erwartet. Vielleicht bin ich bei Twitch gekickt, keine Ahnung. Ich weiß ja noch nicht, was der Inhalt so richtig ist. Es geht halt hier drum, also grob Inhalt ist mir schon klar, es geht um Kritik an der Impfung, am Impfwahnsinn. Und dass die halt, jetzt habe ich gekriegt, scheiße. Und dass die halt hier, ja, so viele, wie hieß das? Blattknotz, wie heißt das auf Deutsch? Verklumpungen, Thrombosen, solche Sachen im Blut finden. Und ja, und eben Died Suddenly, diese vielen Berichte da in den letzten Monaten, dass so viele plötzlich versterben. Und was die Medien sich da alles ausdenken mit, ja, lange Sitzen führt zum plötzlichen Tod. Habe ich zuletzt gelesen. Fernsehen, ganz schlimm. Also ich weiß nicht, wie oft ich Fernsehen gesehen habe und meine Generation nur vom Fernseher gehockt. Die ganzen 90er Jahre. In der anderen Hälfte dann ging es los mit Zocken. Na gut, noch ein bisschen raus, ne? Also wir waren noch die Jugend, die noch rausgegangen ist. Aber da müssten eigentlich alle Kinder ab 2000 müssten eigentlich tot sein. Diesen schiefen Thesen, ja, ist echt verschärfter Scheiß, den die da so von sich geben. Jedenfalls, um das zu begründen, dass da halt Leute sterben. Und es ist schon ein bisschen abstrus. Und vor allem viele Sportler. Das mit dem, da gab es doch so ein, es war immer das Fahrradrennen, wo ganz viele auf einmal, ja, nicht mehr konnten. Und ich glaube sogar beim Tennis, wo die den diesen Nummer 1, ich weiß gar nicht, wie er heißt, Novacek, dieser eine da, ich glaube, da ist der Tscheche? Oder ist der Neuseeländer? Ich habe keine Ahnung, in Australien gab es Probleme mit dem und hat er wieder den ersten Ranger gemacht und die haben ihn irgendwie boykottiert und tralala und wollten ihn unbedingt dazu drängen, dass der sich halt die Dosis gibt und er hat sich aber strikt geweigert und wie man sieht, er hatte Recht behalten. Was mache ich hier, wenn ich Enter drücke? Okay, passiert nichts, weil ich habe ja was auf der Tastatur. Ja, jedenfalls solche Sachen, solche lustigen Dinge und eben, dass da eben so viele in den letzten Wochen, Monaten sterben, died suddenly und darum dreht sich halt auch dieser Film. Aber das muss man halt mit Vorsicht genießen, Henne. Darf nicht alles so für bare Münze nehmen, aber die Grundkritik nehme ich mal an, um die es geht, die, ja, sollte man sich eben näher angucken, statt das einfach zu ignorieren oder abzutun als Verschwörungsscheiß. Und selbst wenn man es als Verschwörungsscheiß abtut, sämtliche Verschwörungen der letzten 2 Jahre, mittlerweile schon fast 3, haben sich im Nachhinein als richtig herausgestellt, beziehungsweise war näher an der tatsächlichen Realität als genau das, was die anderen halt berichtet haben, die guten, wunderbaren, moralrichtig liegenden Medien und sowas, ne? Also die, ja, etablierten halt. Also alles ein bisschen heutzutage verdreht. Okay. Also schauen wir uns mal an, ja. Ich tue mal ein bisschen vorspulen, weil ich habe den Anfang schon gesehen, die ersten 10 Minuten, glaube ich. Moment, wo war ich? Bei Minute 13. Also geht's dann so ein bisschen Intro-Scheiß und tralala und dann holen die halt die ersten Blutdinger hier raus. Da springen wir nochmal hin. Hier irgendwo geht's ja los. Ich glaube, ja, oh Gott, hier wird schon
through
eklig.
people. And the way they do that is they cut into the carotid artery and they pump it around the body via a pump. He was struggling to get it through, and we kind of thought, well, maybe the pump wanted servicing, and had a look at it. It doesn't. Pulled this out, and he kind of grabbed the end with the tweezers, and this comes out in one piece, one elastic piece. It looks like calamari.
Longest one that I have on video is probably almost 3 foot long, which is incredible to come out of the, the jugular up here. It's incredible.
That is not normal.
I talked to other embalmers that have 30, 40, even 50 years of experience. Said, hey, have you guys ever seen this stuff before? And the answer was always,
I haven't seen clots like these. These long, white, fibrous, different, not blood clots, but they're clotting the blood, so therefore you have to call
Mahlzeit, ne?
I have been in this profession actually for approximately 12 years and approximately 200 to 250 bodies per year. And I have never seen anything like this until the vaccination.
Now, I've been an embalmer for 41 years. 41 years I've been embalming, and I've never seen clots like these.
here's a guy messaged me the other day. He even sent me a picture.
A fellow embalmer?
This is not mine, this is his. Same stuff. You see that?
You know, we know something's going on. I deal with a lot of funeral directors and embalmers. I attend national conventions, state conventions. I'm very involved. And, you know, we know something different is going on. We don't know exactly what's going on, but the timing of it is just hand in hand. We're connecting dots here. And it certainly appears that there's some relationship to the vaccine and these obstructions that we're seeing.
I was in Ohio last week or the week before last, and there were 100 embalmers at the Ohio Embalmers Association in my lecture, and I posed these photos up where people could see them, and nearly all of the embalmers out of 100 in this room raised their hands that they had seen clots and white fibrin structures of that kind of size. And when I ask again, when did they start seeing them? Again, it's
Ekelhaft, ey.
16 to 18 month period.
This is different. And they need to figure out what it is. That's the problem, is they need to figure out. That's why we're talking to you, is that we're concerned for humanity.
Once I knew what was happening, I'm a man of principle. Do you know, your family's just as important as mine? Why? If I don't speak out, we're all anyway.
As a Canadian embalmer, I have found that everybody I embalmed for over a year had fibrous mass clots. The fiber mass clots had been fed by blood clots at the ends that were integrated into the fiber mass clots. The fiber mass clots themselves were not blood clots. On average, I would embalm a body every day or two. Every single body had them, and they were massive.
When I was talking to Dr. Ken Thorpe, he was more concerned about the real tiny clots that he called microclots.
Overpopulation.
Ich wollte eigentlich noch mal kurz Pause drücken. Ich muss gleich noch mal hinzoomen, weil mich das jetzt wundert, dass der dort sich verschleiert. Da darf er nicht berichten oder was? Hat er schon Angst davor, wenn der berichtet, gekündigt zu werden von dem Zeug oder also davon berichtet, ja.
Mine.
Der andere.
If I don't speak out,
Fibrous mass clots. The fiber mass clots had been fed by blood clots at the ends that were integrated into the fiber mass clots. The fiber mass clots themselves were not blood clots. On average, I would embalm a body every day or two.
Und da sagt er auch von jedem, also bei jedem wäre das aufgetreten, den er untersucht hat hier. Und wenn das so ist, dann ist es ja ein Fakt. Ich meine, wozu muss man sich dann verbergen? Das sollte man schon in die Öffentlichkeit reden, dann hat er hier etwas faul. Dass er sich aber verbirgt, kann er noch zwei Gründe haben. Entweder hat er wirklich Angst oder der zweite Grund ist, es ist Unsinn, was er erzählt. Das sind deswegen verschleiern, ne? Also wieder mal, toll. Aber mal gucken mal weiter. Ich mache jetzt mal das große Licht hier an, weil ich merke ja, dass das immer so flackert. Das ist irgendwie blöd. So schön. Ja. So, was mache ich hier? Ich scroll einfach mal runter. Alles klar.
Every single body had them, and they were massive.
When I was talking to Dr. Ken Thorpe, he was more concerned about the little tiny clots that he called microclots. And when I asked him about microclots, I was like, let me explain. Sometimes when I'm seeing the blood, it looks like the blood is dirty. Almost like it has little fine grains of sand or almost like fine grains of coffee grounds. The reason why he's more concerned about those is because they will go undetected and they can get lodged up in capillaries and end up slowly starving organs of the oxygen that it needs. So what I did is I captured some blood that looked dirty. It's clouding it up, but see, I wanted you to see the specks that are floating around. Here we go.
It looks like rust.
It does. Look at it, like, see, you can almost see that they're like stringy looking.
The first time I seen something that what I would describe as a different type of blood than I had ever seen, consistency of blood, was on a younger lady that was in a car accident. And I noticed onto the table as we were getting a little bit of drainage from her that her blood looked as if it was, the only way to describe it is blood on beach sand. It was sticking to the table.
I began noticing strange things with the blood, looking like it had coffee grinds or sand in it, to complete separation, like a clear orangish fluid, and then clots coming later, like the blood had almost separated. And of course, then there are the fibrin structures that we get, and it doesn't matter if it's a young or old person.
I'd like you to kind of feel.
Sieht doch komisch aus, ey. Diese Plastikzeug. Gummiartig.
Kind of hold
It's
on
like
to
a
it.
rubber band almost.
Yeah, like a rubber band or like calamari.
So of course that explains people stroking out. Like,
And that was my concern in the very beginning of all this. The whole thing was, as I'm seeing all of these strange clots, I'm hearing stories of blood clots and embolisms and sudden heart attacks.
Scientists say there has been an increased rise, a sharp rise in unexplained deaths during the pandemic, deaths that are not listed as COVID-related.
Mhm.
I would just like to find answers, because so many people, young people, are just dropping dead. There were 2 in the local paper today out of Lafayette, Indiana, and I question, how did they die?
Autopsies are not being done and performed as often and as frequent as they had been done in the past. You know, there's no way that that.
Warum sind die alle verbogen? Ich kapier's nicht. Sorry, aber wenn ja wirklich was am Laufen ist, warum verstecke ich mich da? Da muss man doch raustreten, wenn das was Ernstes ist. Ich kapier's nicht. Echt, selbst wenn jetzt hier irgendeiner bedroht, das ist ein Fakt. Hallo? Da hast du das Recht auf meiner Seite normalerweise. Da muss es an die Öffentlichkeit, da muss sich jeder empören. Kapiere ich nicht. Das passt nicht. Dass die sich da immer im Dunkeln verstecken, sich verschleiern. Wie ist das? Obfuskieren. Ne? Aber das passt doch nicht.
That type of obstruction would not cause stroke, heart failure, some type of pulmonary embolism.
Ich meine, das ist echt, man kann da seine Meinung trotzdem öffentlich äußern, dass man sagt, ihr Leute, ihr, oder einfach mal die Fragen, die stellen einfach bis jetzt erstmal nur Fragen, oder stellen fest, das ist jetzt in den Körpern X, das ist ja nachzuweisen, dass dort drin ist, ne? Das kann man ja sagen dann auch, dass es so ist. Und dass ihr 3 Leute in meinem Ort oder so gestorben jetzt in den letzten 2 Wochen, waren aber jung und gut drauf, haben Sport gemacht, warum sterben die auf einmal? Kann man doch alles berechtigte Fragen stellen, ne? Heißt ja nicht gleich, dass ich hier sonst was mir zusammenreimen muss. Zuerst mal alles noch legitim. Deswegen also das ist wirklich das, was mich hier stört, dass dieses, ich bin im Dunkeln, ich will nicht erkannt werden, aber ich äußere mich einfach dazu. Warum? Wieso, was soll das? Was soll dieser Quatsch?
That would certainly take someone out.
Now, most of the people are not autopsy.
Man muss aber auch sagen, sorry, dass ich immer unterbreche, aber ich muss es loswerden, weil ich ja hier nebenbei gucke, sonst könnt ihr gleich direkt das Video gucken ohne mich, ne? Dass ja nicht alle sich verbergen. Ich meine, ich weiß nicht, was das für Typ ist hier, aber die 2, 3 Leute, die sieht man ja dann auch und die äußern sich ja dann öffentlich, also das ist schon wieder in Ordnung, aber den anderen Teil, es ist ja keine Underground-Doku, irgendwas, wo jeder Angst haben muss, hier ins Gefängnis zu wandern. Also das ist mir ein Rätsel. Was soll das?
Therefore,
ich beruhige mich langsam wieder.
No one will see what I see.
And that's why what we see back there, people need to know. Nobody will know unless we tell them what we're seeing, because it happens and then you have a visitation and a burial and it's over.
I feel as though I am seeing something that could be causing their death. And the dead can't speak for themselves, so therefore the only way to bring this forward is like, I have to speak for them. Since the vaccine, this rubbery stuff, this stuff here is absolutely, no, hold on, I don't know who this is. Hello? Yes. Okay.
Falsch verbunden.
Okay.
Weiter geht's.
I'll be there as soon as I can. I'll be there as soon as I can. I'll give you a call shortly. All right. Bye. Okay. Well, it looks like I got to go to work. So maybe you guys can come with me and we can talk along the way.
That they would let us shoot.
I've been trying to warm people up to the idea of doing it. So maybe we just go ahead and try to go up there, and I'll give them a call as we're on our way and see what they say.
Good morning. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Teresa Long, and I have been invited here today to testify to the truth before the legislators of Idaho. The information I'm presenting is made as a protected communication under Title 10 USC 1034 as a whistleblower. My opinions are my own and do not reflect that of the United States Army, the DoD, or any entity thereof.
Insurance companies figured that if there was something catastrophic that happened to the United States, they would see a 10% increase in all-cause morbidity and mortality. 10%. For just like an unprecedented, catastrophic, natural event or something that happened in the United States.
U.S. life insurance companies have reported an overwhelming and unexplainable increase in all-cause deaths among 18 to 49-year-olds.
40% is no one's even.
Das gab's ja bei uns irgendwo, ne? Hat er diese eine, welche war denn das? Eine Krankenversicherung war das doch, ne? Oder Lebensversicherung? Ich weiß gar nicht mehr, das ist schon wieder ein Jahr her. Hat er irgendwie festgestellt, dass es da erhöhte Ausfälle und sowas gibt und Todesraten und tralala. Und dann gab es doch diesen Bericht über diese, auch von der Amis, wo irgendjemand so vorgesprochen hat. Nicht bloß einer, sondern mehrere dort erzählt haben und berichtet haben, dass dort diese Krankheitsraten übelst gestiegen sind. 1000% waren das Krebsraten, aber eben auch diese diese, wie heißt, Thrombose, Verklumpungen, Herzinfarkt, verursachende Sachen halt. Oder irgendwas anderes war das. Also weil so Krankheitsscheiß. Und das eben auch bei der Armee, weil das dann dort gesagt gut dokumentiert wird, wenn die immer regelmäßig untersucht werden. Und das war halt im Rahmen dieser Impfungen danach übelst abgegangen. So weiter geht's.
No one's even calculated that. I mean, that's never been factored into what things would look like. It's apocalyptic.
In my 15 years as a doctor taking care of soldiers, I have never seen this litany of debilitating and potentially deadly medical conditions in soldiers. These conditions included strokes, transient ischemic attacks, pericarditis, myocarditis, erratic heart rates, arrhythmias, rapid onset and progression of various cancers to include testicular cancer, esophageal cancer, brain tumors, neuroendocrine tumors, spinal tumors, thyroid dysfunction, multiple sclerosis, cognitive impairment, persistent severe insomnia, suppression of the immune system, unprovoked blood clots in the splenic and portal vein, avascular necrosis, liver dysfunction, menstrual irregularities, and miscarriages.
Well, I think if you look at the 5.3.6 post-marketing analysis report, the 1,291 adverse events, I don't think those came as diagnostic tests. I think they came as confirmatory tests. You ordered a product, you wanted the product to kill people. Hey, stockholders, we got exactly what you ordered.
Fourth shot, Borla, the CEO of Pfizer. Good for CVS, good for Walmart, good for your health.
When I reached out to Army Public Health Command and numerous senior medical and operational leaders about my safety concerns, I was ignored. Threats against my career were made, but no appropriate actions were taken to fully investigate the number and scope of adverse medical events after COVID vaccines.
What I was here today to speak about truly was the weaponization of public health.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm also a whistleblower. That's my... That person right there called me one day. I called her, I can't remember, it was an email. And she said, have you seen the DMED system? Have you seen what it's up? And I'm like, I'm working on the border. I'm trying to stop 12,000 people from coming across this border a week. And she said, well, take a look at it.
Seeing the DMED data, I have significant concerns that we won't have a standing army in 5 years.
Case 1-01, United States Air Force A-10 instructor pilot, mid-30-year-old male, hospitalized 12 hours after vaccination. Diagnosed with pericarditis and anaphylaxis, removed from flight status for 6 months, thus negatively impacting unit mission readiness. I have never felt so abandoned by the military. I have been forced to take something that brought me close to my death. I was mocked, discredited, unsupported. Our squadron morale was ripped to shreds. All these things were completely unnecessary. We are truly less ready on multiple levels.
I had to talk to a wife of a soldier that had a stroke, which required speech rehab for several months, and talk to her while he was in the ICU and say to her, he's going to be okay and he'll be able to serve again because this is what he loved to do.
Back in September 2021, I submitted an affidavit in the Robert V. Austin case in which I outlined how the DoD was violating its own risk management process in their push to mandate the vaccine of every member of the armed forces with an experimental vaccine. After my testimony was made public, the DoD made no effort to investigate my safety concerns.
I got contacted by attorney Tom Renz over the weekend, who represents some whistleblowers within the Department of Defense.
I have declarations from all three. The state is under penalty. This is under penalty of perjury. We intend to submit this to the courts. We have substantial data showing that we saw, for example, miscarriages increased by 300% over the 5-year average, almost. We saw almost 300% increase in cancer over the 5-year average. Cancer is not being talked about except for by Dr. Ryan Cole. Thank you, doctor.
I was the first pathologist in the world to say, guys, we're seeing an uptick in cancers. That's toxic spike protein has so many mechanisms that allow cancers to wake up, and certain cancer genes that it binds to and promotes mechanisms. Everywhere I go, radiologists, interventional radiologists, oncologists, cancer surgeons like I met today. Cancer, cancer, cancer. 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 40-year-olds, reactivated or second shot, third shot, month later, breast cancer, stage 4 everywhere.
We saw, this one's amazing, neurological. So neurological issues which would affect our pilots. Over 1,000% increase. 1,000.
10 times. That's 10 times the rate, and obviously that
83,000, 82,000 per year to 863,000 in 1 year.
Stimmt, das war's, was ich gesehen hatte.
Are being experimented on, injured, and sometimes possibly killed.
Senator Johnson looked in the camera and said,
The Department of Defense, the Biden administration is on notice. They must preserve these records, and this must be investigated.
and within 24 hours, that system that is run by the Defense Health Agency was shut down.
This is the bottom line up front. This is the weaponization of our healthcare system. These are done in acts by legislators. These all started a long time ago. Some could say in biblical times with good and evil.
If we think that there are not nefarious actors in the world and people that work for principalities and dark places, if we think that, we're fooling ourselves, right? Because that's where we're at.
1974, Henry Kissinger put out a paper that said we need to decrease the world population. And that's when the globalists kicked in.
We've got to stabilize the population. When I was born, there were
so what's wrong with the population? I mean,
with too many people. That's why we have global warming. We have global warming because too many people are using too much stuff.
Our book, Limits to Growth, was the first concrete effort using a computer to look at trends that unfold over decades, even a century. We were trying to understand long-term physical demands on the planet. And in the 70s, we were thinking that probably in the period 2010 to 2030 was when the planet would start to encounter limits.
Here is what Dr. Meadows' computer shows. Since the year 1900, the Earth's resources, there at the top of the chart, have been steadily used up as population, food consumption, and production of goods have soared. Ahead of us, sometime after the year 2000, this computer study foresees calamity. Resources drop more steeply, and food and production follow suit. Population continues to expand for perhaps one more generation, then collapses calamitously as deprivation takes hold.
Now, 11 billion people, still a lot, but the good news is that the faster we improve health, the faster family size goes down.
The World Economic Forum, you have Klaus Schwab and George Soros and Bill Gates. They talk about depopulation. They talk about all of these kind of utopic ideas that they have.
The United Nations sustain.
Das Witzige aber ist ja, wenn die immer so über Bevölkerungsreduktion reden und sich darauf beziehen und das sogar von der anderen Seite auch angeblich pushen und so weiter und die Impfungen jetzt dafür erfunden hätten, dass sie die Bevölkerung reduzieren, die ganze Sicht da, die es da gibt. Was mich immer daran wundert ist, die müssten ja eigentlich dann zum einen